Now at 10, a bill working its way through Missouri's legislature could give some taxpayers a $1,000 rebate. Plus, a look at how perceptions of local health departments changed during the pandemic. And we'll check out a couple of area events celebrating Earth Day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
You're going to want to stay in touch and be aware this weekend. There could be storms on the way. This is KOAM News at 10. We're going to go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for our first look at the forecast and what lies ahead. Doug.
Well, we do have that threat for severe weather moving in by Saturday evening. Now, until then, we look fine. We're going to stay mild. We're going to stay windy across the region, very similar to what we had today. Look at that, 83 for a high. 67 is where we started out, and we should go near 80 once again for us tomorrow. All right, nothing going on outside for us right now. We have a few clouds. Thunderstorms to our west, and these thunderstorms will give us clouds and maybe even give us a few scattered thunderstorms for late morning into the early afternoon, mainly on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. But besides that, we're not going to see much of a severe weather threat until after 5 p.m. or so. Look at the temps. We're sitting into lower 70s right now with the strong southerly winds. Our temperatures just aren't going to drop off much tonight, maybe down to about 65 or 66 degrees. So we'll start at 65, 72 by 10, up near 80 during the afternoon. Thunderstorms increase after 5 p.m. Of course, we're going to break this all down for you and what it means for you here in just a bit.
See you then. The Missouri House has approved a bill that would give a rebate of up to $1,000 for state income taxes owed this year. The proposal would allow for rebates of up to $500 per individual or $1,000 for married couples. For example, a couple who owed $500 in state income taxes would be repaid $500. If individuals or couples didn't have to pay additional money in income taxes when they filed, they would not qualify. The bill now heads to the Senate, where it faces an uncertain future. A controversial bill regarding birth certificates passes the Oklahoma House. The bill would ban non-binary designations on birth certificates in the state. Came about after Governor Kevin Stitt directed the state health department to stop issuing non-binary birth certificates last year, saying they'd done so without authorization under state law. The Senate approved the bill in March, so it now is going to head to Governor Stitt's desk for final approval. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, most people didn't give their local health department a second thought, but the pandemic put them in the spotlight in both a good way and a bad way. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with one local health department and has more.
The local health department 2.5 years ago wasn't on the forefront of most people's minds.
I've always said the health department is the best kept secret in town.
Larry Bergner is the administrator for the Newton County Health Department. He attributes that statement to what he's seen as the general public's perception of not just the Newton County Health Department, but all of them.
Most people think that the health department is for those lower income families, that we only provide a limited number of services, and most people think, well, it's really not for me.
Then the pandemic hit. Health departments were thrust into the spotlight, which Bergner says has had a positive and negative impact. A positive aspect was that people realize there's a lot more to their local health department than they imagine. But on the flip side of that, Bergner says maybe there was too much more.
I think some people look at the health department and are leery of us because of what we've seen with masking mandates and some of the things that we've been told that, well, does it work, does it not work? And there's certainly opinions on both sides.
Bergner says the pandemic caused a split, with some health departments, like Newton County, issuing one set of guidelines, while another department nearby had a totally different perspective on the situation.
So there's been some view in the public, can we trust our healthcare providers? Can we trust public health? And I'm sorry for that, and I'm hopeful that we can regain the trust of the public, because we're supposed to be true advocates of science and what is best for the population. And certainly I've tried to do that in my role, as many others have as well.
In Neosho, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Bergner says he wants to remind the public there's much more to your local health department than just vaccines and WIC vouchers, and he encourages everyone to stop by and learn more about what your tax dollars are helping to pay for. After a year of work, Pitt State Technology seniors are showcasing their final projects. Industrial professionals met with students today to look over their projects and advise them on their futures. Projects included a smart visor for your car, an air compressor controlled by your phone, and a 3D printed animatronics robot.
They conceive the idea, they develop the idea themselves, design the project, build a working prototype, and then they test it, and the result is what we're looking at here.
Industry professionals were there to give students feedback on their final projects with the hopes that some can be brought to the market. Today is Earth Day, time to reflect on our planet and how we're caring for it, or maybe not caring for it. The Carthage Caring Communities Coalition today hosted block parties for folks in Deerfield, Missouri. One of those parties was sponsored by the Alliance of Southwest Missouri. Kids there helped plant vegetables in a community garden and had some fun with games and activities. Another Earth Day event, this one in Joplin. The Missouri Department of Conservation Shoal Creek Center gave people a chance to recognize beauty in nature and capture that beauty through artwork. The event, called Conservation Families, Colors of Spring, taught attendees about blooming wildflowers and how these wildflowers fit into the habitat at the conservation area.
My career path was, I guess you could say, was raised into me. Grew up running around the woods, saw the flowers, never really knew what it was, what was going on, but figured out pretty quickly that nature is important and kind of turn your paper.
Visitors could also create some easy floral artwork to take home. Also in Joplin, people came out to the Spivas Center for the Arts for an evening of poetry. The Langston Hughes Cultural Society hosted a reading of poetry by the Joplin native Hughes. The poetry readers tonight included former Joplin Mayor Melody Colbert Keene and current Mayor Pro Tem Keenan Cortez.
To be able to have more of Langston's words spoken here, to bring more knowledge about Langston, to bring him into spaces all around town.
April is designated as National Poetry Month. Coming up, why Best Buy is recalling a brand of air fryers and air fryer ovens. And people in the Southwest are forced to leave their homes as wildfires sweep through that region. Best Buy is recalling Insignia air fryers and air fryer ovens over safety issues. The company says some of the fryers can overheat and pose a potential fire hazard. Best Buy says it's received nearly 100 reports of the fryers and ovens catching fire in the U.S. and Canada. Some minor property damage and non-life-threatening injuries occurred as a result. Customers are advised to stop using these products and to return them to Best Buy for a refund. Another recall, this one involving vehicles. Ford announced a recall of nearly 653,000 of its vehicles. Among those affected, the 2020 and 21 Ford F-150 pickup truck and the 2020 and 21 Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator SUVs. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says windshield wipers on these vehicles may fail sooner than expected, posing a potential vision threat to the driver. Ford says it's had more than 700 reports of wiper problems, but none led to an accident. Fewer kindergartners are getting vaccinated. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports childhood vaccination rates for measles, mumps, and rubella and other conditions fell during the last school year. Researchers said vaccination rates dropped by about 1 percentage point for 3 immunizations. Researchers say the overall drop could be tied to the pandemic, specifically tougher access to appointments and inaccessible data. Several major wildfires are threatening communities in the Southwest, especially in Arizona. Hundreds of homes have been evacuated, more than 24 structures destroyed. Officials expect conditions are only going to get worse. Reporter Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
A fire that sparked Sunday near Flagstaff, Arizona is now raging out of control. The tunnel fire has already burned more than 32 square miles and is growing, leading Arizona's governor to declare a state of emergency Thursday. Officials fear high winds in the forecast could lead to catastrophic conditions.
There was a lot of fire everywhere, and we were really focused on the subdivisions and trying to get folks out.
In the air, helicopters were able to dump water on the flames for the first time. And on the ground, crews put out sparks and cut fire breaks to try to protect communities. The fire has burned at least 24 homes and businesses and forced 750 families to evacuate. Stephen Rossi loaded his horses onto a trailer, hoping to find somewhere safe to take them.
I figured if I just went far enough, someone's going to take us in.
It's one of several fires now burning in Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado.
Thank you guys so much for your service.
Near Mayer, Arizona, one homeowner used his Ring doorbell to thank firefighters remotely.
It is literally a heart-melting thing to see what they're going through to help save people's homes.
The intense fires are early in the season, but scientists say a 20-year drought fueled by climate change has led to a year-round fire threat in the West. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
So far this year, there have been nearly 20,000 wildfires nationwide. That's the most in at least a decade. A little bit later, an area symphony puts on a show for local elementary students at Pitt State.
Plus, we still have a severe threat rolling in tomorrow evening. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, it turned out to be a very warm, windy day for us today. Temperatures, they made it all the way up into lower 80s during the afternoon. We're still sitting into the mid 70s right now. This is a nice live shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. The parking lot's filled up. It's a nice night. It's Friday, so why not? It looks pretty good. We're going to be quiet weather-wise as we go through the overnight hours. Look at our temps still. It's 10-16. 72 Iola, 74 Chetopa, 71 in Anderson, 71 in Carthage. The southerly winds keeping our temperatures up. These are coming back a little bit for us tonight. South winds 10 to 20, but we're still getting winds gusting kind of 25 to 30 for us tonight. And this is what we are going to see as we go through the overnight hours, and then the winds will crank up a little bit more as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. 7th range line currently outside 72. Southerly winds at about 10. Humidity is at 53%. We have pretty much clear skies. We do have some mid and upper level clouds, but that's it. Nothing big going on. Any showers, any thunderstorms have been out across western Kansas down through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. This first band is dying. A second band will form in eastern Colorado and then kind of work across the state all night long. So we are going to have the clouds from that during the morning hours tomorrow. Could even get a couple little scattered thunderstorms southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma during the morning hours. But this whole storm system, most of the energy is staying across the northern plains, but it's kind of dragging that front off toward the south. So at least a low risk. Severe weather from Kansas City, Emporia, Wichita, Tulsa, Oak City, all the way up through southeastern Kansas. And it starts to kind of taper off once you get into Missouri. It doesn't mean we can't have severe weather in Missouri tomorrow night. It just means the higher threat is on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Mainly after 4 p.m., I think after midnight or 1, our threat's going to drop. I'm keeping all the risk low for now, but at least one of these are going to pop up for us tomorrow, so we need to keep our eyes on that. Let's go through time. Let's go through the overnight hours tonight, kind of in and out of the clouds, mid and upper level clouds, mid 60s, overnight lows. You can see the clouds kind of thicken in the morning hours. Could even see some spotty little showers, even a random thunderstorm due to the storms out to the west. So mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, but our temperatures, they do warm up once again. 65 to start, 75 by noon. High temp 79. Southerly winds still strong, 20 to 30. Look at the storms. They get going 6, 7, 8 o'clock and advance east. Here's 9 p.m. They'll start to get into the metro at that point in time. I think prior to 9 p.m., that's when we have a tornado threat, Kansas and Oklahoma. After 9 p.m., that tornado threat drops and we switch to a hail, wind, heavy rain threat. Periods of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night. Even on Sunday in our southern counties, I am not worried about severe weather on Sunday. Our main severe threat is from 4 p.m. until about midnight tomorrow. 79 tomorrow, 65 Sunday, 63 on Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday look pretty good. And then back into the 70s Thursday and Friday of next week.
We're ready for that.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, don't forget you can be the first to know about the day's weather with KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. Doesn't cost anything. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. KOAM Skywatch weather app. Southeast Kansas Symphony today partnered with the PSU Music Department for a children's concert. Officials say around 1,000 area school children were there for that concert, which featured music from Jurassic Park, Pirates of the Caribbean, Encanto, and The Avengers.
And we bring close to 1,000 kids here in the Big Nail, and we do some kind of fun activities. For, people think that the orchestra is too serious, too snobby, but the orchestra is a lot of fun, and we actually show that to the kids that music is fun.
Again, that concert at Pitt State's Bicknell Family Center for the Arts. Still ahead, a Pitt State pitcher makes history tonight in the team's game against Newman. And the Northeast Vikings aim to stay perfect in a league doubleheader against the Southeast Lancers. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons host a border battle this afternoon against the Carl Junction Bulldogs. Now, both of these teams have been playing pretty well the last 2 weeks. The Dragons have won 5 of 6. Carl Junction enters the night having won 5 of 8. The Bulldogs strike early. Jordan Woodruff puts it all the way to the wall and left. That brings Kyler Perry home. First run of the ball game. Then Lucas Van Landuit drives the off-speed pitch back into center field. That brings Woodruff home. Carl Junction gets 3 in the top of the first. Bottom of the inning. Check this out, man. This is off the bat of Jackson Turnbull. Look at where it lands in the softball field bullpen out there across the street. 2-run homer for Turnbull. Pittsburgh on the board. Now tie game, bottom 4. This is the difference here. Cale Farrington through the left side. Braden Benson rounds third and scores. Dragons have their first lead, and that's where it stayed. Pittsburgh knocks off Carl Junction 4-3.
They came out and they had a really good start, and we just told our guys it's a long game. It was the first inning. We got 7 more at bats. You know what I mean? And our guys have been pretty good lately. Even when we get down a little bit, of staying up in the dugout and understanding that a lot of baseball left to play. It's a sport that a lot of things can happen over a period of a game. So they just did a nice job of just staying within what we want to do.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas snapped a 5-game losing streak last night, beating Newman 7-3 in Game 1 of their 3-game series. And the two teams are back on the field tonight in Wichita in Game 2. And the Gorillas trying to earn the series win here. That's what they did. Pitt State wins this one 9-0. Look at this. Pitcher Paul Panduro throws a no-hitter for the Gorillas with 16 strikeouts. It is the third no-hitter and the first 9-inning no-hitter in Pitt State program history. Missouri Southern baseball also in action tonight. The Lions try to even their series with Northeastern State. Southern falls 13-6. Chayton Beck, Tyler Ferguson, and Drew Davis all go deep today for the Lions. The Northeast Vikings are off to a perfect 12-0 start this season. Tonight, the Vikings aim to stay perfect in a league doubleheader at home against the Southeast Lancers. Now, the Lancers also off to a solid start, entering the night with a 7-1 record. Shelby Underwood, strong once again in the circle, strikes out 6 batters in 4 innings. The Vikings offense doing their job too. Lexi Enlow through the left side. Chastity Young scores. Then bases loaded for Underwood. Pulls it down the third base line. Enlow comes home. It's 4-0 Northeast. And they would put up another big inning in the third. Underwood drives in another run there. Vikings up 7-1. The next inning, they would put it away. Lexi Yarnell hard to third base. Young gets in. Northeast rolls by Southeast in Game 1 tonight, 16-1. A Game 2, another big win for Northeast. Vikings win that one 14-4. Northeast now 14-0 to start the season. College Heights senior Ethan Meeks signs today to continue his basketball career after high school. And Meeks signs this afternoon to play at SEMO Prep in Cape Girardeau. And Meeks will play next season at SEMO Prep before reclassifying to the class of 2023 with all 4 years of eligibility. Now, the 6'7" center earned all Ozark 7 honors last season for the Cougars. He helped College Heights win back-to-back district titles and make it to the state quarterfinals in March. Now here he is on what he brings to the college game as a big man.
Probably my quickness and my overall just handling of the ball. And I feel like that's really helped me to be able to be a better prospect for all the schools that have been trying to recruit me.
I feel his best basketball days are ahead of him, and hopefully he'll have a good year there, proving that maybe our two area colleges, universities will see that and recruit him, try to get him back in this area here where we all can watch him.
That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Robert Hutchison served in the U.S. Army from 1953 to 55. The Walker, Missouri native was stationed in Korea, and we salute Specialist Robert Hutchison, a four-state hero. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. Like that weather app we mentioned, it's free. It's in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Just search for KOAM News app. The Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington, D.C. marks a 50-year Pandaversary event to remember an exchange with pandas, exchange with China. The giant panda Meizhong and Shoujiji, they got the fruits of those labors. The panda pair were treated to a frozen fruit sickle cake with juices, fruits, and bamboo. Chinese premier gifted a pair of pandas in 1972 to the U.S. after hearing that then First Lady Pat Nixon loved pandas. That was on President Richard Nixon's historic diplomatic visit, and they've had pandas there at the zoo since. Sure. Yeah, what do you know? Chances of some severe weather tomorrow. We need to be alert.
Mainly after 4 or 5 p.m., we are going to have chances for showers, thunderstorms. The best chance for severe thunderstorms on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, some heavy amounts of rain. So, of course, Nick and I will keep our eyes on it tomorrow.
Final sports note.
I told you Paul Panduro threw a no-hitter tonight for Pitt State, the first 9-inning no-hitter in program history. His 16 strikeouts, also the most in program history. So all-around dominant night for him.
Yeah, those are some impressive numbers.
Sure.
16 strikeouts, you bet. Thanks for joining us. Please be careful tomorrow, and let's make it a great weekend.
Salon Service is